You're watching SportsLine on News Channel 5 Plus. Steve Lehman, Travis Haney from 24/7 Sports with you tonight. Travis, I think perhaps tonight was the most anticipated regular season hockey game in Nashville history. From a global standpoint, really. If you look at all the Canadian media in town, this was massive. The blockbuster trade last summer, Shea Weber for PK Subban. Subban's injured, but Shea Weber back for the first time. 6-year captain of this team, all-star on the blue line for 11 years. He comes back for the first time tonight. And to me, the atmosphere lived up to what you would expect. It was a good crowd, a lot of Canadian fans there, but certainly heavy majority of Predators fans. They gave Weber an ovation, and the typical former player video tribute at the first timeout was sensational. I don't know how Weber kept it together other than the fact that he's a robot when he's on the ice, but it was awesome. It was a very, very well done tribute, emotional night for sure. And one of the scenes, and you and I go to sporting events all the time, but this is a scene that will be etched in my mind that I'll remember for a long time to come.
I think so. Hockey is different because I think it has a sense of tradition and history and loyalty. And we've been over at the rink a lot when the opponent, a former player, is not received.
Alexander Radulov tonight.
Ryan Suter comes to mind for the Minnesota Wild a couple of times in the last month. But to see the way that they responded to embrace someone who meant a great deal to this franchise, to this city, it was moving. And I've only lived here a couple of years and followed this team for a couple of years, but it was moving. I had chills, and they showed people throughout the arena that had tears in their eyes. It was a special moment, and I thought the Preds handled it amazingly. You obviously had a lot of positive material to deal with, but the way that they connected him to the community and the fan base and the tribute video was outstanding, and for him to acknowledge it, it was a really neat moment.
There's a lot of love between player and fan base there because of the relationship of the past. The trade, I think, caught everybody by surprise during the summer, and you could tell today when Shea Weber had to talk in front of probably the biggest media horde that he's ever been in front of, and I don't think he was comfortable out there. He's not a guy who loves the camera by any means. You could tell it still stings a bit that he was traded from the place that he feels so much a part of. I don't think he wanted to necessarily talk to David Poile when he came back. But when it came to the ice tonight, the Preds did a really good job with the tribute. The fans showed their support. Even after it was done, they went back to playing. It was "Thank you, Weber." That was the chant throughout the arena. So still, even though he's now an opponent, there's a love affair there between number 6, even the other sweater, and the home fans.
And they won't play here very often, but he will get that reception in Nashville every time that he's here. Steve, you and I talked about it. The one thing that was missing tonight was the Nashville side of that storyline, and to have PK Subban out on the ice as a part of the trade. I mean, often you see a player leave when his contract is up, but not very often you see a trade where there's two sides of this. Subban spoke this morning, a lot of Montreal media in town. He wound up fielding questions about his injury and his timeline, and we didn't have both skaters on the ice tonight.
Yeah, hope 2 to 3 weeks that PK is able to get back out there and help the Preds out.
They certainly with a similar thing, as you know.
Right.
It takes a little time. You got to rest, get some therapy.
I like Mike Williams because of the neck. You like PK Subban because of the back issues. I totally understand. Preds need to get going here. There's no question about that. Still plenty of time. Still plenty of time for them to get going in the right direction down the stretch. We have 7 days, though, until we count down, or I guess 6 now, to the College Football National Championship game. Alabama and Clemson. I want to get your take. We know the turmoil in the Alabama offense. Clemson, to me, I think actually has a shot. And I said all year that I thought Alabama was one of the best teams we've ever seen. Here's why, though. I think this almost sets up like the NBA Finals last year, in that the Warriors were the greatest team of all time to a lot of people throughout the.
It's funny you went with the NBA Finals analogy.
The whole thing. The Warriors were the greatest team ever. But the Cavs had the things that could beat them. They had the best player on the field, which I think Deshaun Watson will be. And I think they have a defense that can sort of counteract what they will do offensively, and they can hit them defensively. Alabama's great defense. They can hit him with the pass over the top, which is, if there is a weakness, that's it. It's the secondary.
Well, apparently the NBA is really good at setting up this scenario, because it also happened, remember, with the Heat and the Spurs. So the Spurs came back the second year and beat LeBron. I happened to be at the game when they clinched. The point is, Clemson has an edge in this game because of what happened a year ago. It also has the better quarterback in this game, the experienced quarterback who's played in this game. I was at the Peach Bowl and saw Jalen Hurts. If you put pressure on him, it's going to make Alabama beat you with the run. They can do that. They are very capable of doing that. But Clemson, I think, is much more equipped to stop the run than Washington was.
I still think I lean I don't know. I might actually go Clemson if I had to pick right now.
I think Clemson wins the game.
Really?
I do. I think the edge coming into this game.
You've changed since a couple days ago when we first talked about this.
Alabama has a new offensive coordinator. I think that's a factor. I think the way that they call the game, approach the game, you don't have that same continuity.
And as much as Saban talks about the process, this is a change process that he cannot be happy about. We got to take our final break. SportsLine wraps up after this.